If the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say this was their finest hour.
We stand for Queen,
country, and video games. BRB UK.
Worse teeth,
better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy hoy, and welcome to episode 271 of BRB UK. I'm Dan, I'm your host. Hello. Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Thank you. Tim is channeling the spirits and thoughts of every single one of our listeners.
Yes.
But he's doing it ahead of time, which makes him some form of time-space anomaly, which we've always known, I think.
A Tim space anomaly, if you will.
Yeah, well, somehow you managed to make time take a lot. Yeah, but you know, it's kind of like time dilation, Tim, is how I would describe you. Tim dilation.
Tim
there
dilation.
We go. Tim dilation. Which...
I'm not sure.
If you measure how many centimetres, you know if the baby's coming or not.
Is that really what Tim does every time he goes to the toilet? I'm 6 centimetres dilated! It's nearly here! Woohoo!
Oh dear.
Yes. So anyway, the other one's Coleman. Say hello, Coleman.
Hi!
You're alright. Anyway, Tim is a man, he will share my pain. I've gone deaf in my left ear, Tim.
What?
No, that's not how deafness works.
What?
No, what? Oh,
I can't see you, Dan.
that's because...
Who said that?
Oh my god. Nurse! 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 I need my medication!
No, Coleman. Coleman, not nurse.
Yeah, I really wish you'd stop dressing up like that and sending me photos. It makes me feel very, very uncomfortable. and proper nurses don't wear latex, mate, alright?
Happy birthday.
You heard that, Coleman? He
Mr.
told you
President.
he wants
it's a
nudes from
month
now on
late.
only.
That is a
okay?
month late.
Just nudes.
Just nudes.
Just the nudes.
So we've covered Tim dilating his anus to have a poo and dick pics. Brilliant. So this show's off to a great start.
And you've got screwed up ears.
Yeah, I've got screwed up ears.
Because you're old.
Yep.
Yes,
Old
yes,
man
that's
is.
exactly why. Tim, you're older than me. Shut up.
Yep.
You're both older than me.
Yes.
That's why.
So
Ah,
are you like are you like kind of the living carer that social services has sent round to Tim's house?
I like to think I'm like the trendy teenager, so while you're all duffing around in your wheelchairs and your strollers, I'm like I'm going past on my hoverboard with my go-gurt in my hand.
Wow.
Like, it's yogurt in tubes. Get with the times, Grandad.
I'm not so sure much a teenager as a hipster, perhaps. But
If yogurt in a tube is the most exciting thing you've ever come across in your life, young boy,
I got a new phone. That's pretty exciting.
what new phone have you got, Coleman?
I got a Samsung Galaxy S8.
That is not a very hipster phone to get now, is it?
I quite like this phone. It unlocks when I look at it.
did you get your phone for Black Friday?
I did not.
Boo!
Did you get anything for Black Friday?
I got a couple of video games.
What video games did you get, Coleman?
I got Wolfenstein 2 and I got Assassin's Creed Origins.
Oh, they were both
Assassin's
cheap.
Creed Origins is a good game, isn't it?
I haven't started it yet.
Excellent. Good work. Carry on, as you were.
I Want You to Die on VR. I just been looking forward to.
Want You to Die in
expect you
VR?
to die, I think it is.
Which VR would die? Does that count?
Your VR to die.
No. The hell?
And I got for Black Friday, I got a keyboard. Ooh. I got a Logitech, actually. I need to look at the model number.
Could you read the serial number from the bottom by the barcode, please?
No, I can't be asked to do that. Yeah, I got a Logitech G810.
Is it a gaming keyboard?
It is. It's got Roma G switches, whatever they are.
Does it light up in funny
Yes, it
colours?
does. And I can light up individual keys.
Oh.
I got one of those for work.
Individual keys.
I can't do the individual keys. I can do like change the backlight on the light underneath the keys, and I change it depending on like what mood I am. When I'm in. So it's blue if people can approach me. It's red if I'm busy. It's purple if I'm not at my desk.
Well, you not being at your desk would let people know you're not at your desk.
Yeah, surely that's a better visual indicator.
They might just think I'm like asleep underneath the desk or something.
Nice.
Maybe they think I'm very small. They can't see me from behind.
Alex did somewhat better out of Black Friday than we did because I ended up buying her a new PlayStation because there was a particularly good offer and hers is particularly noisy.
You can actually... her PlayStation 4 makes a guest appearance in the Mass Effect Andromeda Cookies and Booze, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, we'd basically... It was the new model normal, not the Pro, but the kind of the white console, which looks quite nice. It's quite a nice piece of kit. Definitely a lot quieter. And they were doing it for like $199 with 3 games.
$199, Timothy!
I knew that would annoy you. $199.
God's sake!
But with
you mal-educated clunge knuckle.
But never mind that. With a copy of Gran Turismo, which it was selling.
Well, I wouldn't be too excited about that
anyway.
To be fair,
but
everyone's favourite racer, Gran Turismo Sport.
I'll take a copy of Gran Turismo.
What else did you get?
Alex wasn't that bothered by that, so that came to me, kind of thing. Anyway, and then Hidden Agenda, which is one I was quite looking forward to.
Which I just bought.
A price game. I know Coleman just bought it, but still got our own copy of that at least. And Battlefront. So
everyone's favourite Star Wars shooter.
Everyone's favourite light bit of gambling simulator. Brilliant.
Yeah, Star Wars Casino. But yeah, after I was complaining about it a couple of weeks, we ended up getting a console with a copy. So hey, but yeah, I've got a copy of Battlefront. I haven't actually played it yet. Otherwise, I'd talk about it this week. But yeah, but still a good offer, I thought, with that console, new controller, obviously that comes with it.
Can you light up individual keys on it?
No.
But you can put it under a wobbly table leg.
But it does mean it's the first one of the new style pads I've got in the house as well. When the
they're very
bars
nice
on
actually.
The top. Yeah, it seems alright. Quite nice.
That's very nice. And they've improved the kind of the. This is just going to make Coleman laugh. I'm just going to go straight for it. They've improved the kind of the sensation of clicking the buttons as well. I think it feels a lot crisper to use.
Okay. Yeah.
The pad. And yes, crisper. Yes.
I wondered if that was just because it was new compared to the old ones, but yeah,
it might be.
Right,
actually, that's an excellent point.
It might just be the fact that
No, I've got a relatively unused original one, and it does feel a bit mushier. There we go. That's a technical term. I hope you're keeping up.
Yes. Old pad I have, mushy it will be.
Yes.
Yeah, but overall, the new console's quite nice as well. So, yeah.
You're an idiot, Coleman.
Wasn't a bad perk.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are a real idiot. No, Coleman. No.
But there were some good Black Friday deals. And, yeah, I don't know if you saw, but Sony announced that it was the best-selling weekend for, like, console sales, PlayStation console sales in their history, basically. So that was pretty good, considering they already had 60 million out there somewhere.
I liked the Amazon Nintendo Switch deal that sold out in 61 seconds.
Well, I've still been trying to get my little grubby mitts on one of these SNES Mini things and failing abysmally. My favourite thing is so today they were in stock on Amazon France for actually that's quite a long time. That was for 13 minutes. And because Nintendo did get some more stock on, but they sold out literally in 2.5 minutes.
Right.
And it was just ridiculous.
But they're making more next year.
Yeah, well, no, they're making probably the N64 Mini next year as well.
Well, no, next year they're creating new stock for the SNES and the NES.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Reggie Fils-Aimé came out and said this because he was like, "Hey, don't support scalpers. We're going to make more consoles. Just sit tight."
Yep. We realise we've done a bad. We're sorry.
We realise it's idiotic to remove a product from the market that's selling stupidly well.
Yeah, so anyway, that's why we can't have nice things. And if you are an idiot and you really want to be scalped, you can pick them up for the princely sum of £180 in some outlets.
Moses.
It's 180 now. Wow, it was 130 yesterday on Amazon.
Yeah, no, there's a couple went mad. I think it's after Black Friday and all that nonsense. So
right.
Yes, anyway, that was Black Friday, everyone's favourite commercial holiday. Although it was quite funny that everyone seemed to have decided to go shopping online because there was no reports of people murdering each other for a 22-inch telly this year.
Most outlets stopped doing in-store promotions for that very purpose. Like, if you remember was it 2 years ago, Asda had multiple casualties in their stores. So the next year they're like, we're not doing in-store things, and this year everyone's kind of following suit.
Yeah, although I suppose if they kind of made it kind of like it was LARPing the Hunger Games or something like that, then it could have been.
Give everyone a crossbow and a bow and arrow.
Yeah, exactly. And there is a 55-inch curved Samsung telly in the middle in the cornucopia, along with all the other stuff you need. And yeah.
They give them enough weapons, they can stream that to enough people to make it worthwhile.
Mate, they don't need it, but I'm sure like Tesco and Edmonton, that would not be needed.
What they do is they'll they put all the products in an area and they parachute everyone in. And then there's like an area circle that gets smaller and smaller, forcing you into the center.
That sounds like a really unique idea, Coleman.
I think so. I should market this.
No one's done that before.
No, I think Epic might have done something similar.
Oh, Epic did. You're right. They did. That was totally their original idea, wasn't it?
Their original idea was absolutely fine. Yeah.
So yes, but talking of people who clearly missed a Black Friday sale, and there was no Black Friday sales for server time by the looks of things, because Marvel Heroes, that character RPG that you love to play but won't be able to for much longer, shut its doors a bit early.
Yeah, this was meant to be supported up till December 31st. We spoke about the Marvel's decision to sever their ties with Gazillion Entertainment and shut down Marvel Heroes. So yeah, it was meant to be till the end of the year. It's been shut down this week completely. And
wow,
I saw a lot more outrage over that than I thought I would, mainly on the console scene, because the game's not been out in, I don't think it's been out more than 5 months.
I think it was May it came out, right?
Yeah, well, that was in beta as well. The full release wasn't that long ago. So it's not been out that long, and a lot of people have put in money to unlock characters and try to get them, or people that have moved from the PC to the console, trying to get themselves up to that level of the same level of characters, have pumped a bit more money in than they'd expect to. And and then the game's just been pulled out from underneath them.
I mean, it sounds like it was a very sudden thing, since kind of news reports started circulating on Twitter, and obviously former Gazillion employees, comments from them started appearing on Twitter, where apparently they were laid off without any notice, pretty much, without severance pay, the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no.
So someone somewhere, is I'm sure on the board, may have done very well out of declaring bankruptcy, but for the people with the boots on the ground, this has been a really terrible thing.
Yeah,
it really has.
Just in case we weren't clear on it, it's not just Marvel Heroes that's closed down, it's Gazillion.
It's Gazillion as a whole.
Yeah. Not great.
Which is really sad.
I've put some money into Marvel Heroes. I'm not happy about that shutting down so early.
I played it for free for a bit, so...
Yeah.
On PS4, how long had it been around? It hadn't been around that long, had it?
Like Tim said, May for the beta. The full launch wasn't until, it was 5 months ago.
Yeah.
Not good.
No, but it's not only Marvel Heroes that's had its servers shut down.
Oh, Destiny 2's been shut down. Can't believe it.
No, it was pretty bloody close. Demon Souls, that hot Souls game that everyone loves to play.
The first Souls game.
The very first Souls game.
The only one I've played a significant portion of.
The servers are shutting down.
Yeah, I didn't know it was still running.
I know, that's like 9 years they've been going. They will terminate on February the 28th, 2018. Kev has been inconsolable since.
Oh, God.
Well, this is weird, because it's...
like, oh, yeah, sure. I thought I might actually boot it up again, but then I have to get my PS3 out of the cupboard. I don't know why I've turned him into Danny Dyer. I don't know why I've turned him into Danny Dyer, but, there we go.
Yeah, but, well, it does make a difference, though, to this game. You know what I mean? Like, it won't be the same game after the servers are turned off.
Oh, if only they'd release some sequels, then people could continue enjoying it.
But there's just without the messages and stuff, that even if you weren't, like, actively going and, like, jumping into other people's games, like... The servers made a difference, and it will take away all those messages in the world and other things that, yeah.
If only they had a game called Dark Souls to play.
I know,
or Dark Souls 2.
I'm just saying.
Or Dark Souls 3.
What if you can't go back and have the same experience that you had with that game ever after?
I doubt it's aged that well, to be fair.
Still probably play okay, I would have thought. But yeah, a lot of people say the improvements they've made over the series of the games are worthy improvements, but yeah. Hey. Hey. I cannot see you playing a Souls game without ripping someone's arm off. I really liked the first one. Like,
really?
I got into it before it became really...
I really like
here we
Bloodborne.
go. All right, Grandad.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't keep up with the series as much as everyone else. And yeah, it was challenging and difficult. I think both of us did the same thing. We bought the next game and then didn't play it so much. I don't think I ever even opened my copy.
Yeah, pretty much.
I bought Dark Souls 2 and then proceeded to do the character creation, started playing the game, and then went, can't be bothered right now. I'll probably do this tomorrow. And then never went back to it. Ended up lending it out to someone who never gave it back. But Bloodborne, really got into Bloodborne. Like more of that. Like if only they like with the Soul games, I think what they need to do is make them fully multiplayer. And if they could have you parachute into a large area and there's like a circle that closes in.
So like it's kind of, it's ever increasing levels of tension. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think that would really
work. And
work.
they have to fight one another for the best weapons.
Telling you, I reckon most games are going to turn into this.
And there could be like a 55-inch Samsung telly in the middle of the map.
Or some kind of some turkey dinner.
Ooh, I do like me some poultry-based dinner.
Maybe some crispy duck.
Or cock soup. I love cock soup.
Cock soup.
Well, it's a Jamaican delicacy, Coleman.
I'm sure it is. Jerk chicken.
Yep.
I'll jerk your... No, wait.
What are you chewing on there? Oh, some cock soup.
Delicious, just like Mother used to make.
Just like Daddy used to make, I think you'll find. But anyway.
Whoa.
What? Men are allowed to cook too, Tim. Enough of your 1950s-esque gender-based stereotypes, young man.
I have a question getting back on topic.
Yeah.
With the server shutting down on Demon Souls, then what does that take out of the game?
Well, you don't get, as we said, we don't get the messages that are either helping or not being too helpful.
Yeah, I don't think there was even world invasion that one, and presumably
there was
like,
there was co-op invasions.
States. Oh well, there were in that one. Okay.
Yeah.
And like the world state, there was like it would be like a light world state and a dark world state. I think. Presumably, it will still work in some capacity.
Yeah, you could still play the game, but it wouldn't have, as I said, the messages and the bloodstains where you see where other players have died and stuff like that. And that's an interesting piece of information.
Some would argue, and probably masochists like Kevin White would argue, that makes it a purer experience.
Well, it makes it a bit more trial and error, I would say. There's some things where it definitely
error
gave you some
like
either advice to be wary or careful of something, or generally, something to be intrigued of or to investigate, like one way or the other.
Intrigued about, Tim.
Yeah, okay, fine. Intrigued
about, yes. Unless you're Canadian, then it is intrigued about. Abbott.
It's my favourite cider.
No, really? No, it's not my favourite cider. We were talking good ciders before we started recording.
We were talking fruity ciders before.
We were talking fruity ciders. I am a cider. Anyway, how's your father, Coleman? All right.
All righter. What's next, Dan?
What's next? Well.
This is a deep well that you.
This is a very.
Are we talking about watered down XP Gate?
No. Well, it's a lot
XP
more than
Gate
that.
sounds
Is Destiny. Well, Bungie, Destiny 2. They've rather been. They've not been in a good place, shall we say, for the past month or so.
That's one way of putting it down.
And I mean, all of this has initially stemmed from people going, a number of the kind of economy systems in the game seem fairly broken. You're kind of pandering too much to kind of the true casual players, where it's very easy to get everything you want, and then there's no kind of end game grind for the super duper items. So that's been burbling along for a couple of months, and then some very diligent person on Reddit kind of noticed, and I'd kind of noticed passing too, that sometimes you like do a public event or something like that, and it'd say at the bottom plus 7,500 XP. That sounds like a lot of XP, doesn't it, Coleman?
It does.
It does.
It's a lot of XP.
Yeah, but the XP bar at the bottom would move approximately the width of a gnat's dick along, and you're like, that can't really surely be 7,500 XP. Turned out it wasn't 7,500 XP. In fact,
how much XP was it, Dan?
Not very much.
Wasn't
About
like
75, probably. Yeah. So basically, someone on Reddit, who, bless him, was really, really very diligent about this, and someone give him a job in the video games analytics industry, please, because they really, really did do very well here. They basically video capped the footage and wrote down all of the kind of the time signatures when they got XP, and then worked out, actually on the scale of the screen how much like 1 pixel width of XP was worth, and found out that actually it really heavily scales. Basically really penalising people who are doing anything more than very lightly dipping their toe into the water. In fact, it was so severe, the throttling of the XP, that it would actually kick in halfway through a public event.
So this isn't unusual in an online game. XP scaling is something that's used quite often in MMOs.
It's
However,
true. And I can see why, because you don't want, people who are no-lifing the game to get absolutely everything instantly. You don't want that. But here's the rub. So, what XP gets you after you've hit the level cap in Destiny is things called bright engrams. Now, these are the things you also buy with real money.
And to cash them in, you have to go to a store.
You have to go to a store where they try and upsell you again. So basically, people, especially in the wake of what's been going on with Battlefront 2, kind of went, well, hang on, are you throttling this to make more money out of us so we buy more of the engrams, especially now that you've announced that there's going to be a whole new set of Season 2 gear? What are you doing, Bungie? And very much, it's kind of very rapidly gained momentum, quite rightly so, and Bungie majorly got called out on it, although they didn't pull their finger out and act on it until the Kotakus of the world started reporting on it.
Yeah.
And, their response was, and I don't think they could have done much else because it was over Thanksgiving weekend, so no one's going to do any work in the States there, was like, we've just disabled all the XP scaling systems. Now, that initially sounds good, right? But actually, it turned out that effectively doubled the amount of XP you needed to accrue to get anything. So the way the scaler worked, it was in common activities that were kind of potentially easily grindable. It would really scale down the amount of XP you earned, despite the fact it would show you the numerical value for the full amount of XP. And that's the bit that pisses me off. They're essentially lying to you.
Yeah, that's the bit where they should have just giving you a different number. If they're giving you a different number, tell you you're giving you a different number.
Exactly. But it also meant that the XP inflation you got for hard endgame activities like the raid also got turned off. So, I mean, I think the thing is, Bungie, their first response on their website was not good enough, frankly. I mean, and to quote them, after reviewing our data, we agree that the system is not performing the way we'd like it to.
Because you got shouted at.
Yeah.
The system that we designed and made is not working how we told it to.
Yeah. Yeah, the system's not performing the way we like it to, but Bobby Kotick's got a massive boner. So, I mean, especially in the light of everything that's been going on with Star Wars Battlefront, not unsurprisingly, people were pointing fingers and saying rude things at Bungie. And, to be honest, I kind of think that was the right thing to do, and to call them out on this. And we should always, as we've seen with what's happened with Battlefront and what's happened with Destiny 2, the two have been the two titles have resolved in slightly different ways, which I'll get into a tick. But this is absolutely what you should do. I mean, obviously, people like different things. People have different opinions. That's great. But if something is broken and you can prove it is broken, and you can come up with constructive evidence to say, hey, look, we're not just saying this is shit. We're saying, look, we've actually measured this, mate, and we know you're diddling us.
Well, no, just we know you're lying to us, and it looks shady is the reason why, basically.
Exactly. And, I mean, this is also kind of for Destiny as well, where they're building up next Tuesday to the launch of the first expansion, the live reveal streams of which have been pretty underwhelming. To be honest, I mean, there's some cool-ish sounding stuff, but a lot of that was actually in the "oh crap, everything's on fire" post that happened yesterday as a response to all of this. So those streams had not gone down well. Things like there's no new raid. There's no re-rollable weapons. There's none of this, none of that. They were already on the back foot, and this was, I think, there was a couple of late nights this week at Bungie, and they basically, to their credit, they have put their hands up, gone, yep, we messed up. This wasn't good enough, and we know it wasn't good enough. And
After they got shouted at.
Yeah, they got shouted at.
By the internet.
I'm sorry, Dad.
It's worrying with the state of like modern day video games, with the whole always online. It's not just a system of anti-piracy, but not just multiplayer games, but single player games as well that are always online. It means they can put in these XP scaling. They can change the rules to whatever they want, and then if you do complain, they can change them in an instance. And all that means is, much like with the EA thing we were talking about last week, they seem to shoot high and go, right, how much can we mess over people without them getting annoyed? Oh, they're getting annoyed. Right, then we'll just scale it down. No big off our nose. No skin off our nose. We can then go online and go, yeah, we've listened to your feedback and changed the game. It just really annoys me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think if they'd acted on it as soon as it became apparent in Reddit, that would have been slightly better. But clearly someone had programmed in that system. And that isn't just something that has happened, some freak of nature. Someone had to actively
they know exactly
program
what's
in.
going on with that, basically.
If you earn this much XP in this much time, scale it back. And, I mean, I think for me, because they did it so egregiously, it became obvious. It's like, the example I gave that says you just got 7,500 XP, but you get your bar of XP goes up by the tiniest amount. What's worrying? What's worrying though is that if they said, okay, you've just earned 7,500 XP, but the scaler was pretty slight, and that actually only gave you 6,000, would anyone have really noticed?
Probably not. Probably not.
And that is a whole other. But I think this is a clear example of the fact that there is an opportunity with, as you guys have said, with always online games, the metrics that are being generated about how people interact with games, the opportunities for upselling them more stuff, etc., are more rife than there ever have been before. And you can use some of those metrics, certainly about how players interact with games, in a really constructive way to actually go, right, well, how do players like to play the games we make? How can we make them better? That's that is...
But you should use for marketing purposes instead, though.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. But that route is, you're going to see some money in 5 years when your next game comes out. Or you could cynically turn it towards the evil forces of marketing and try and make a quick buck now. And there's always been a problem with kind of the, it's not just video games, but all creative industries where you are charging money so people can be entertained. It's at what point is the line that gets crossed between doing the best for your consumers and making sure it's a commercial success? And that's always a very difficult thing to straddle. And I think the video game industry has gone too far into the monetizing side of it. And I really hope this acts as a massive wake-up call, not just to Bungie and Activision, but to kind of the video games industry as a whole, that we're not mugs. We notice these things. We won't just sit there and take it.
Well, I think this will get some attention, but less so because Destiny 2's already successful. I actually think the Battlefront thing massively underperforming will have a much greater effect, basically. But we'll see. But then, I have a question generally, because while we're sort of in the topic anyway, we haven't really come back to and said, so it genuinely, generally, just for now, how, before the expansions come out and before that we get into, new content, retrospectively looking back on your playtime up to now with Destiny 2, how happy are you with the quality of the product you got in the game? Because it seemed pretty happy at first. Has that changed over time?
Yeah, I would say that, and that kind of reflects, I think, kind of the feeling of people who are, Destiny fanboys, such as myself, that initially it was like, oh my god, it's like, right, we're the kids in the sweetie shop, all these new things to try, all these new things to do. But it was very heavily front-loaded, that once you'd kind of burnt through all of that, there wasn't much else to do. I mean,
there's no kind of end game for.
Well, the end game,
or not
in
as much as there was in the previous game. Would you say?
I would say that it's easier to get all the goodies you want in Destiny 2, and whilst that is kind of immediately gratifying, the whole kind of end game loop for games such as Destiny 2, games such as Diablo 3, it's all about grinding for the really best loot, and that's now been taken away in Destiny 2.
Okay.
And, kind of some of the things that initially sounded great, like, we're going to take away random rolls on weapons and they're just all going to be set. That's taken away massively from, chasing kind of that kind of unicorn, as it were, of the perfect role of the perfect weapon. That's now no longer there. Add to the fact that, I actually think that the raid was a little underwhelming.
Yep.
I think, again, they had a really, narratively speaking, they had a really good villain in Gaul, and then kind of blew their load, as it were, in the main game, and actually didn't keep anything back for the raid. And I think part of the problem is, and this sounds such a twatish thing to say,
well,
but
I wouldn't expect any less of you, Dan. So
thank you, Tim. That's very kind of you to say. That I don't think. I think they've tried.
I don't think.
They've tried to cater for the kind of very casual audience, possibly a little too much.
Would you call them filthy casuals?
I will call them filthy reprobates, if that's all right with you.
I heard you call them the great unwashed when we were off mic.
But
I do. Call
what
them
do you
that
define as a casual when it comes to Destiny 2? Is it someone that only plays every day, or
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is a game. I still think Destiny and Destiny 2 still isn't 100% sure what it wants to be, and I think therein lies the rub. That it doesn't know if it wants to be like kind of a Call of Duty kind of relatively quick campaign that people walk away and feel satisfied by, and then don't go back to it, or if it wants to be a Diablo game where actually the meat and potatoes of it is once you've completed the game and you're trying to make your character as powerful as possible. And they're trying to do
none of those things. I'll tell you exactly what it wants to. It wants to make money, Dan.
Yeah.
No, I know. And that's the challenge. And I think Destiny 1 was perhaps too far in the other direction, and Destiny 2 has gone all the way back in the other direction. I actually think the game as a whole is in a pretty good spot. I think they'd finally got it right around about the time of the Taken King, which was the big expansion for Destiny 1, which really did make the game what it should have been. I mean, I can see why people are angry. It's like, well, are we going to be waiting 3 years to play, yet again, the game we wished it was when it came out?
Yeah, and it looks like they're going through a similar cycle again, no?
Yeah, exactly. And kind of just coming back to kind of the brown stuff hitting the fan the past couple of weeks. I mean, they cancelled the last live stream they were going to do for the expansion that's coming out next week, and that's a pretty big deal. Just going, nope, we're not doing that. We're actually gonna get everyone around the table and tell you what the hell's going on with this game, which they did do, and they put out an episode of the Bungie podcast for the first time in about 2 months, which has got the game director Luke Smith, one of the creative directors, Mark Noseworthy, and one of their community managers on there. And they're being very honest, saying, yeah, and to quote them, we f***ed up. I hope that's an honest sentiment. I hope they genuinely are going to try and do better. And some of the things they announced in a massive long blog post yesterday.
Blog post?
A blog post. I did read it on the blog, actually. Was they are adding like a new tier of weapons that do have random modifiers on them. They're changing the way that mods work, actually making it easier to get what you want from the mods. Try and actually bring a bit of a use to some of the consumable items back to the game. Stuff like you're actually now going to be able to buy some gear directly rather than just keep your fingers crossed that RNGesus smiles upon you and it drops. I mean, that's all well and good, but a lot of this is stuff like, and here's another example, like the Heroic Strike playlist, which was in Destiny 1. A lot of it does feel like stuff they're putting back in the game that they left out from Destiny 1, which feels a bit odd to me. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's certainly an improvement, don't get me wrong, and, this is a good first step, but I've still come away from it feeling it's kind of like the disappointed father routine, really, with Bungie. I thought they were better than all of this. Maybe, who knows, maybe they were just lucky with Halo.
Well, also, I mean, it's not exactly the same studio anymore. Or it's not.
No.
I'm not saying it's massively different, but there are significant people that have
Yeah,
moved on to say 343 and Marty O'Donnell's gone.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the challenge is that Bungie, back in the days of Halo 1 and to some extent Halo 2 and 3, were a much smaller company, much more agile, much more able to iterate and get things done. Whereas actually, I think the challenge they face is they're a very large organisation now, and kind of getting a large organisation to do anything quickly is impossible. But it's also... I think they've had a lot of new blood in, but at the top, there's a lot of the old guard still there who perhaps might be resistant to the idea of doing things differently. Or, hey, look, I made Halo, you've got to listen to what I say. Which may be holding things back a little bit. I don't know, I haven't been there. But something needs to change at Bungie. Because at the end of the day, I think what's really annoying for fans of the franchise is that it's a universe with so much potential. There's so much potential cool stuff going on in the Destiny universe that they definitely squandered with Destiny 1, and it looks like they might be about to squander it again with Destiny 2. And all of this, people just want to play the game and enjoy the game. That's what it comes down to. But, I mean, I think Bungie have got to take a long, hard look at what their plans are and be bloody honest with themselves and not be afraid to tear stuff up and start over if they have to.
How much more are you willing to stick with them through more DLC and payment and more money? More.
Well, I've already got the season pass, so more
so you're in for the long haul.
Me. I'm in until at least April.
Okay,
but we'll see. I haven't got particularly high hopes. I
bought my DLC yesterday. In fact,
yeah, I haven't got massively high hopes for it, but I would like to be pleasantly surprised. Put it this way, I think kind of expansion 2 is going to be the kind of the more obvious canary in the coal mine, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's still, at the end of the day, it's still when you've got 5 mates and you're playing through a raid or some other co-op activity. Yeah, it's great. They've made some really odd design decisions in Destiny 2. I still don't know why. Now that you're in this really kind of funny limbo land when you've got five mates online at the same time, it's not enough to do a raid, but it's too much to do PvP now. So what do you do? And little decisions like that about not making, before the common denominator of activities used to be 3 people. 3 people go and patrol, 3 people could do a strike, 3 people could do this, or 2 groups of 3 could do a raid, or they could go into Crucible. And that is no longer the case. So we'll see.
You think they'd increase the but I was expecting them to increase the sort of general day-to-day of how many people can play rather than decrease what's on the raid. Does seem a bit like a step backwards. But that said, I've not burnt out on Destiny, probably because I don't play it every single day.
I only play it most days.
Okay. I probably play it like 1-2 days out of a week. And that's mainly to just go in and see Zer and go, hey, how you doing?
Hey, buddy. Gun. Hey, Squid Face. But I mean, the way I'm playing it has changed as well. I'm now, rather than kind of having a couple of hour long sesh one or 2 nights a week, I'm now just doing a little bit. I'll just go and do a couple public events. All right, that's me done for the night, and I'm kind of rationing myself on it.
Good.
So yeah.
I have a question, Dan.
Yeah. Go for it, mate.
Shut up about Destiny 2 now.
Yeah, we'll shut up about Destiny 2 until next week, because then I'll be talking about the expansion.
Right, which I won't get to play until like that day, in
April.
fact. Yeah, I'll be at work until the 7th, so...
Well, it doesn't actually release till 6 in the evening.
Oh, I thought it was on the 5th it came out.
I think it's 6. Whatever the Tuesday that week is.
That's the 5th, I think. That's the 5th. That's the 5th.
That's the 5th. That's the 5th. Okay, that is the 5th. I can confirm that is the 5th. Yes, that is the 5th. I don't know how calendars work. The 5th. It's the 5th.
Nice.
Hey, we got the best 5th. We got
all
the
best
fifths.
5th. It's huge 5th.
Can we not just slip into Trump, please?
It's the amazing 5th. No. I've got the best 5th that anyone else has got. Tiny hands. Massive 5th.
Massive 5th and really bad retweets.
Other numbers, I mean, I suppose there's some good ones, but there's other numbers, they're bad hombres.
I came up with the number 6. I came up with the number 6 because people got a number 5. Where are you going to go after that?
I invented the 5th.
Yeah, I invented that.
Fake numbers. Sad.
He's such a twat. But anyway, apart from Destiny, I suppose we ought to just kind of segue on stuff we played. I mean, the other game that's really got its claws into me is Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm chipping away slowly at it. I think I'm probably about a quarter of the way through the game, but it's such a different game than I expected, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. They've really gone to town with. I mean, the writing on Assassin's Creed is usually pretty good, but they've really developed a great cast of characters this time around, and it's a real treat, that game. So I thoroughly recommend that if you haven't picked it up, that you put it on your Christmas list, because you will have the fun times with that game.
You've been sliding down pyramids yet, or not yet?
I haven't slid down a pyramid yet. I've fell
seen
down some
people
stairs.
Sliding down pyramids.
No, I fell down some stairs, mate. That's what I did.
Oh, that's
yeah, it wasn't as fun. I know.
But that's good. You're generally like roughly how far into it do you reckon you are? Kind of
about quarter, I think.
Okay.
Quarter of an hour.
There is so much stuff to do in the world as well. There's so many side quests, things to discover. Yeah, it's completely different to how you think it's going to be, because it's got the word Assassin's Creed on it.
Yeah, I heard they took a few notes out of learnt a few lessons from Witcher, basically,
Which we spoke about last time. Dan was talking about Assassin's Creed Origins.
But it sounds interesting that they've gone a different direction, and it apparently doesn't suffer from the it doesn't feel bloated in its open worldness.
No, it doesn't at all. I think that the combat needs some tweaking in it. To be fair, it doesn't quite feel as smooth as it should, but the setting, the world, the kind of the sandbox you get to play around in is beautifully put together, really well designed, and there's a nice variety of stuff to do. So it's definitely worth checking out if you haven't already.
Yeah, I have to play that at some point.
Hey, do you know what time it is?
Chico time.
Close. Now,
Hammer
it's actually
time?
quiz time, Coleman. It's quiz time.
Oh,
It's
quiz time.
It's quiz time.
It is time. It is quiz time. It was 5 minutes ago. It was 5 to quiz. Now it is indeed quiz time.
Actually, now quiz time.
It is now quiz time. So you guys have been engaged in It's Quiz Time. So tell me what It's Quiz Time is all about.
I object to using the word engage in association with me and Coleman, but other than that,
Married.
we had some fun times.
Abusive
playing
lovers.
some
That's
quiz
what.
time.
He loves me really.
Codependency.
I deserved it.
But yeah,
You don't see how he is when we're alone.
if anyone listens
Is it like that couple out of Father Ted? Oh, hello, Father.
Right.
If anyone listened back to our EGX show, we actually had the developer of this game on the show being interviewed by Julia, I think.
Julia and Alex.
Julia and Alex. And she spoke about the production of the game, so you can go back to that and listen to that if you want some more details from her. But generally, also, after that interview, we all got a chance to go over and play the game as well. And then Coleman and I have been playing this a little bit since it came out.
Yep.
Excellent.
It's great. This is a game in the long line of trends of video games that now interact with your phone and console, or PC if you're playing on PC. So this is a game that has a separate companion app. You load the game up and it's a quiz. It's got a host. The host looks like Elsa from Frozen, but has a robot digitized voice, and she's quite sassy, and I like her.
You got to let it go.
Taking the mickey
Gotta
out of
let
me.
it
That's
go.
why
Let
you
it
like
go.
Yeah. Oh, I love her because you got to put in your name and stuff, and she'll ask if your name's pronounced the right way, and she got Coleman right, and Tim wrote Dim instead of Tim, and she's like, you were called Dim, is that right? And he's like, no, my name is like HF60. And she's like, oh, okay. And then after the first time of her doing that, like 3 more times in, got a bit annoying, gotta be honest.
Yeah, so I changed my name for the next game.
And then you all download a companion app on your phone, and you'll have like a room that you log into, and all the selections to questions are done on your phone, and it's really cool. It's done like because whereas the Jackbox Party games, which is probably the high one to compare this to, that's more of a mixture of different games with different themes to them, put in one bundle, whereas this is purely a quiz game with different categories for you to choose from. And Yeah, I really like it, mainly because of the host, where she takes all this personal information from you, and she's like, "Oh, Tim, you're older than Coleman. Allow me to make fun of you for being old a lot." And like, she'll go, "Coleman, make sure you slow down on this one, so Tim and his aged ways can keep up with you." Or she'll go, "Tim, I see you have picked geography. You'll probably be very known. You'll do that one pretty well as you're old." You know, just like really harsh about it.
I mean, because this is by the same people who did Buzz, wasn't it, on PlayStation?
Yeah, it's a new studio, but they're spun off out of that original studio. Yeah.
I mean, and one of the things is this may be a limitation at the time, but the dialogue that initially seemed quite witty and quite entertaining,
which was read by Jason Donovan.
It was. It became a little repetitive after not too long. Does Quiz Time kind of avoid that? Does it keep things mixed up enough? Because it sounds like it's actually doing speech synthesis rather than having someone who was in a voiceover booth.
I think we'd have to play a lot more to see, if that wears thin over time. But I don't necessarily think this is a game that you necessarily want to rinse that much anyway. I think where this game is best is when you've got a group of people around your house, possibly for Christmas. This is like ideally suited for people that don't necessarily play games every day, and if you stick a controller in the hand, they feel a bit lost. If you've just got to have a phone in your hand and that can interact with what's going on screen, then I can see this being like a really good fun time to have with family and friends that don't necessarily always game that much. Basically,
yeah, she doesn't seem to repeat herself so much. The host, it's more her mannerisms, because she's got a couple of idle animations. So
yeah,
like there's one where she taps her fingers together and she looks very creepy when she does it. Like,
well, is that because she's got no torso?
She has got no torso. It's quite weird.
She's got arms and shoulders, but no torso.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Arms, torso, arms, shoulders, and a head.
These are toes.
Yeah, it sounds like
shoulders. These are toes.
When you're saying that, it sounds like she's been gruesomely pulled apart and has no legs or something. But basically,
Jesus Christ, Timothy!
It sounds like a Dead Island 2 pre-order bust.
Flip it, heck!
I'm just saying,
weirdo.
It's digitalized. It's not weird looking or anything. It kind of makes sense.
She's meant to be like an AI character.
Yeah. But I mean, as I said, she's kind of fun and sassy, and again, that's something that I think will go down well with a group of people. And I think the more people you're playing this with, and I'm not sure how many the maximum is. Was it 8? I think
10,000 on Twitch.
Oh well, yeah. Obviously, if you play through Twitch as well, you can get audience participation, which is something Coleman and I might mess about with. So if anyone wants to get involved in that, give us a shout.
I'm wishing that we could have got a pre-release copy of this for Extra Life, because this would have been amazing.
Yeah, I don't think it was ready at that point.
No,
sadly,
not. But
because the review copies have only just come out as well.
Yeah, it's not out on Steam yet. I can confirm, even though it says the release date's the 28th of November, which was 2 days ago. It's still saying it's not available yet.
It'll be out by the time you're hearing this podcast, or fairly soon after. But I believe it's up on PS4 and Xbox One at the moment. Yeah, I mean, it's, it is what it is, but it's also it does feel slightly tailored towards gamers at times as well. Like, there are categories that you choose, as Coleman said, and often it's the person that's losing that gets to choose the category to try and catch up. Oh
yeah, there's like a quick fire round, and it's like, which category do you want?
Yeah,
and I got to pick because I was in second. Video games, yes.
Oh yeah,
and I think, Tim, did you get one right because I failed one?
Yeah.
I was just so quick on that.
But yeah,
loved it.
Well, anything where we
could...
Good
humble bragging, Coleman. Well done.
Oh, not even a humble brag. I am straight up bragging, my friend.
But when it was, I kind of found when it was something that even if we had a shortened time to answer, and you had to answer in a reasonable amount of time, when it was shortened amount of time, and I'd just be just about ahead of it in kind of when we were answering questions. But when it does, and unfortunately it always does, a kind of final round, and it's quick fire back and forth between the two of us, and you seemed a lot better at that than me. Your reaction time to questions.
Yeah, I'm younger. I've got them reflexes down.
With your hoverboard answering questions.
The trick is you have to memorize where on the phone your A, B, and C patterns are,
that's
and then not look at your phone when you hit the answers.
I'd look at the thing and then go to look down at my phone, and that was just too slow. Basically, I need to adapt my.
You can't leave your eyes from the screen, Tim.
Yeah,
that's where you failed.
Yeah, But
needless to say, I'm undefeated at that game now. By the way.
But
Oh my god!
But that's one of those things where, yeah, I think again it'd be better with more people than just the two of us, basically. But because I think that'll balance the game a little bit better. But obviously, it's a party game, so it is more suited for more people in the environment and having some fun with that as well, basically. But
I since it's out and about on PC, maybe might just slum it and go get it on PS4.
Yeah.
That looks good times. That game.
Come play with us, maybe. I think you can play online and stuff. And yeah, it's well done. But as I said, like when you're one other thing I forgot to say though, when you're choosing the categories, there are quite a few like video game related categories and stuff. But then other family members could choose things that weren't related to that as well. And I kept picking football questions to try and stump Coleman and stuff like that.
Because I know all about the feet balls.
Yeah. But yeah, as I said, it's really well done, and yeah, definitely worth possibly picking up as well.
Lovely.
I recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I very much would like to pick up this game. It sounds awesome fun.
I'd recommend getting it on a console though, because it's really a social game. Like if you've got people in the same room,
Are you calling the PC Master Race antisocial?
Yes.
Is your PC set up at a desk or is it set up in a TV on your living room?
Right, it's in a fucking desk. Right.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, but I've got two monitors and I'm really cool.
I don't think you're going to get any extra benefit by getting it on the PC as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's not a game that's going to be.
But I've now established the Dan cave in my house after years of trying. I've now finally got a Dan cave. You'll be
playing a quiz game on your own.
Yeah, come on.
No,
in your Dan cave, naked.
I'll be playing it with all three of my Twitch followers. Thank you very much. Twitch.com/CatmanAverage. Thank you very much. Maybe I'll get 4.
Play it with the missus. Get the in-laws over. It'd be great.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
it's a good one for that sort of stuff.
Christmas party, New Year's,
Christmas time, mistletoe and wine.
Everyone loves a quiz game.
Yeah, everyone does love a quiz game. You are
Everyone's
right.
got a mobile phone.
And I said, yeah, but ideal for Christmas, basically. We're getting a bit too close. Yeah.
Thanks, Tiny Tim.
Anyway, there you go. Yeah, all good. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
To be fair, this podcast will
mercy,
come out after the 1st of December, so that's an acceptable time to be talking Christmas.
Actually, no. My yardstick is I have a problem with mince pies being on sale and then going out of date before Christmas.
Oh, that's just dumb.
That is
I have a problem with.
That is broken Britain, mate.
Well, I guess the only thing is that there will be a lot of Christmas pies before Christmas, in which
that usually happens.
May be consumed. Yeah,
Christmas parties do tend to happen around Christmas.
Some Christmas pies happen a while before Christmas. So hey,
like Easter
parties.
Easter party.
Yes.
I don't know why I made that sound so sinister. Easter, bring your eggs. Anyway,
I wish it could be Quizmas
every day.
Quizmas time.
Jizmas time? What?
Well, no, because they brought this game out so close. Like, it came out, yesterday, day before? So it's relatively close to Christmas. Think of all the marketing you could put behind that quiz can fit into Christmas in Quizmas. You could, like, it's Quizmas. I wish it could be Quizmas every day.
I want to borrow some people from Bungie to do that. They're quite good at Bungo. You get a question right, but all you get is 1/3 of a point. if you're doing too well at the quiz.
Point scaling.
Yeah, that's what it'd be. Oh, well, I suppose we probably ought to think about winding things up, do you think, chaps?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or do you want to speak about Sonic Forces?
Tell us about one of those games. Let's hear at least one.
Sonic Forces, because you've been itching, Coleman. You've been tugging on your little nutsack, haven't you, waiting to tell us about this? Yeah, I know. You can stop it now because you can tell us about it.
Okay. Yeah, so as I mentioned at the top of the show, I got a new phone, so therefore I tend to, when I get a new phone, my first thing I do is stick some games on there and then realise that I don't particularly like mobile gaming and then I delete them. So I
try Galaxy of Heroes, Colin.
Oh, God, it's rubbish. Plays the game for you. What's the point? So... Sonic Forces Speed Battle is one of the games I picked up because I thought, hey, fast game, let's see how, because you've got this whole image scaling on the phone and stuff and it looks really cool. So I thought, hey, let's try some Sonic Forces. And it's a 4-player online racing game, which is kind of set up like an endless runner, but it's not an endless runner because there's a finish line.
This sounds like it might not be good.
It's good, actually. I quite like it.
What?
So the whole objective is to pick a character, run through a level, pick up rings.
If that is an objective of the game, to pick a character, then that is really low balling the amount of effort.
You get your character, you run through your level, you pick your rings up, you can get up to 100 rings.
Hey!
The more rings you have, the faster your character will go. Right. And you can also pick up power-ups, much like a Mario Kart, that will allow you to go faster or attack an enemy, another player, or set up barriers or something to ruin their day.
Yeah.
And the aim of the game is to finish first. And that's pretty much it. And I'm really enjoying it. I recommend playing it. It's free. There's a bunch of microtransactions. None of them really worth picking up.
Excellent.
Play it for a bit. When you get bored, delete it. Move on to the next thing.
Right, okay.
Sonic Forces Speed Battle. I give it a thumb sideways.
When you say characters...
Thumb sideways. I give it potatoes out of oranges.
You got characters from Sonic. You got Sonic and old Sonic. You got
Sonic and old Sonic.
Sonic and Clunge Knuckles. You got him.
You got Knuckles. Yeah, he's in there. You got some characters from Knuckles Chaotix,
Tails and stuff. I'm guessing. Yeah. Is there a Big the Cat?
No, Big the Cat. You got Chaos. Chaos from Sonic Adventure.
No one likes Big the Cat anymore.
Have you got Dr. Robotnik?
Dr. Robotnik is not a playable character.
What?
Not yet. You might get patched in.
Yeah.
You Shadow the Hedgehog. You got that big crocodile from Chaotix that I never played on the 32X.
Wasn't Shadow the Hedgehog the thing they did when they realised that they were no longer edgy and it was no longer 1993?
No, they originally made him because they were like, hey, we created Knuckles. Knuckles is a new foil. And then they went, actually, he's a good guy because people like him. And then they went, we need another bad guy. Oh, make Shadow. Actually, he's a good guy now. People like him.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And then he got his own game where he had a machine gun and a motorbike.
Jesus.
Oh, see, when you say stuff like that, it literally sounds like, as it is, that Sonic games have become parody onto themselves.
Oh, this isn't recent though.
I know.
Yeah, this is PlayStation 2 era.
Sonic games is ridiculous. Anyway,
Shadow the Hedgehog is a cracking game. Apparently, there was a fan outcry to have Sonic have a gun, and Sonic team went, well, we're not giving Sonic a gun, we'll give it to Shadow though because he's the Black Hedgehog. So they gave him a gun and a motorbike.
There's a slightly uncomfortable subtext to that, isn't there?
A little bit, yeah.
Don't you think? Hey, remember, guns don't kill people, hedgehogs do. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Sonic Forces Speed Battle. It's a good waste of time.
Excellent, good. Like all video games ultimately are, let's face it.
Yeah, that's the whole point. We're just slowly like withering away into nothing, so we might as well play some games in
and
between.
then you destroyed your phone as well,
everyone.
Hey Coleman, but we'll save that for another time, maybe.
Yeah.
Right, well, I think, looking at the clock, we probably would think about getting out of here, so hell, we're gonna. But not before Tim tells you that Tuesday is Tuesday, and if you're not busy trying to get too excited over Destiny just releasing, you'll be probably somewhere in a bar in Dalston, I believe, won't you?
Yes, indeed. And basically anyone that doesn't know, every Tuesday we run an event called Tabletop Tuesday in the Loading Bar in Dalston.
What day of the week is it?
It's a Tuesday, and every Tabletop Tuesday we have a new feature game, and if you play that feature game that evening, you can win a copy of that game at the end of the night.
Alrighter!
This week's feature game is a very highly rated game called When I Dream, quite new and highly rated, so it should be a good one to come along to. It's a party game, so we can party away with this. And speaking of parties, the week after this will be our last Tabletop Tuesday of the year, and will be our Christmas special. So we're going to have a special guest and lots of other things going on, and lots of new feature games for that evening. So it's a really good one to come along to. This week's one should be a cool party game, but the Christmas party is definitely one not to be missed. So try and come along to both of those.
I got to miss that one.
Can you idiot. But yeah, it should be a really good couple of weeks for tabletop. So come along. You can get more details on the site or join our ever burgeoning ranks of over 1,500 people that have joined us on the meetup group. And yeah, come along to Tabletop Tuesday. Possibly win a game while doing so.
Hey,
Oh, place your dice on my board.
What?
Where are you putting your fingers? That's where I want to see where you're going to go with this.
Run your meeples.
In your soul?
I'll write some more lyrics for that.
Up my hole. What?
Tabletop Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
All right.
Hey. Kind of glad that you're not coming.
Oh,
I think I'll be able to make the Christmas one, actually.
It's
I think I'll be there for that.
Yay.
Right,
Possibly.
chaps. We better go, I suppose.
Oh, but we're having so much fun, Dan.
But also,
we are.
Just one quick note on the tabletop note as well. Alex, my lovely wife, has started writing for Tabletop Gaming magazine.
Woohoo!
I hear she's a published authoress.
Yes, and the first month where she's got reviews
It's a
and an
word.
article in the magazine is Publishers Month. You can find it on shelves in such good establishments as WH Smith and Sainsbury's and Tesco's and other
And on an
not so
unrelated
fine
note, Tim
establishments.
happens to be Mr. November in that issue as well.
That's not how the magazine works, Dan. But yeah, check that out. You can see her work in there. It's quite a good issue to pick up. It's just gone monthly and bigger and better, and Alex is a part of that as well. So go and support her and see her work in that as well.
Really
So,
unpleasant image of Tim in a pair of Speedos.
Oh, God, Dan. Don't leave people with scarring mental images when we're trying to promote something.
Image
That's
or
not
photoshopped
good promo.
wallpaper?
I wonder.
I know what I'm sending you on your Christmas card this year.
Oh, God.
Mr. November.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Dan.
Tabletop Tuesday.
It's a writer.
We are really good at promotion. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Oh, my face hurts.
Anyway, suppose we really ought to thank some people.
Aye.
Aye, right. From iTunes, I'm not thanking anybody because no one thanked us.
Stuff ya.
Shove it, mate. But from the forums, I'd like to say thank you to Richard Kirk and Stealthy Joe.
And from Twitter, we'd like to thank Nelly and Gabriel Romo.
And from Facebook, stuff ya.
I'm yours.
Yeah, sure.
Never like Facebook anyway.
Facebook, more like twats.
Someone say hello on Facebook and iTunes and Reddit. Why not?
And we'll send you a signed photo of Tim as Mr. November.
In a Speedo.
Again, not good promotion. If you want people to do things, don't offer them things they
So
really don't want.
when you've gone to Russia to visit Alex's family, have you ever got arrested for smuggling
I haven't done
budgies across international lines?
I couldn't even hear your ridiculous question through your
Have
childish
you
sniggering.
have you got in trouble when visiting Russia to see Alex's
I haven't
family?
visited Russia because that's not a thing. Well, it is a thing.
Russia is a thing.
Russia
I heard
is
about it in
totally a
school and
thing.
everything.
No, as in Alex's immediate family don't live there, so I haven't been there to visit.
All
them.
right.
But anyway,
When do they live overseas, though, right?
Cyprus.
Cyprus. So when you go to Cyprus, have you ever got in trouble for smuggling budgies across state lines?
No.
Oh, you haven't.
State lines. It's not the US.
No, well, technically it's a European state.
I guess.
For a start, Dan, this ridiculous notion of me strolling through the airport in my speedos.
No, I
to
know
make
what
this
it is,
possible
Coleman. I know what it. I know where I've gone wrong.
Was not a thing.
It's actually a mankini, isn't it?
Yes. Did you pack your own mankini, sir?
Alex has the
Alright.
weirdest look on her face right now.
It's not funny. It's not funny. Right, we're gonna go.
Wear your Speedos!
Writer. Anyway, we're going to go. That's enough of this nonsense. So thank you for listening, ladies and gents. We do appreciate it very, very much. Remember to go to internet.things/BigRedBarel and you'll find all of the things.
All of them?
All of the things.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah, name a popular internet site on the internet and put /BigRedBarel after it. Just see what happens. Bebo, yes. Friend Facer.
Vimeo.
That Vimeo. I don't think we've got a Vimeo.
Tout.
Spock.
Spock. What the hell is Spock?
Have you not seen those awful adverts?
Everything I have mentioned is a real site. Come on. I was making stuff up.
No, that was
Friends Reunited /BigRedBarel. That's where you'll find us.
GazillionEntertainment.com/BigRedBarel. They've shut us down.
I hear that domain's up for sale, so
okay. I'll keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, should do. Right, anyway, that's enough of us. You need to get back to your day, dear listeners. So I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim, maybe?
No, you've been Mr. November, and
I've been Mr. December.
Certainly
yeah, you have.
Yeah.
Father Christmas.
I've been Mr. Shrove Tuesday.
I've been Mr. Women's Empowerment Day.
I've been Mr. Take Your Pet to Work Day.
We have fun.
We fun. We have fun on the internet.
We have fun. Yeah.
Anyway, that's your lot, ladies and gentlemen.
Can we end this, please?
All right,
Put me out of my misery.
Liminac. All right, thank you very much for listening, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
You and your ears are quite welcome.
For the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
To BigRedBarel.com.
for more podcasts?
News, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet. BigRedBarel.com.